by a point. First-time claims for unemployment rose for a second straight week. The Labor Department says weekly applications were up 12,000 to 294,000. And housing starts rose in March, but by far less than economists were expecting. Permits, which are an indicator of future building activity, recorded their largest drop since last May. Citigroup reporting quarterly earnings that easily beat analysts' expectations on both revenue and profits. Citi also announcing it cut Chief Executive Michael Corbett's pay by 7% last year. That's when the bank's profit nearly halved. United Health weighing in with better than expected earnings and revenue. The diversified managed health care company also raising its 2015 forecast. And BlackRock posting a nearly 9% rise in first quarter profit. Chris Maurer, CNBC Business Radio.
Have you had trouble with online dating? This is eHarmony founder Dr. Neil Clark Warren. We've created a new solution, EH Plus. EH Plus combines the personal attention of a matchmaker with eHarmony's extensive pool of great singles. EH Plus gives you hand-selected matches and freedom from being online. Get started today. Call 855-930-LOVE. That's 855-930-LOVE.
I work for a Fortune 500 company. I've been exposing sensitive business documents for over 15 years. Some share vital information for money, others to expose wrongdoing. My reasons are different. Why do I do it? I need to print stuff, and sometimes I forget to pick it up. Is that so wrong?
Unattended documents can make your printer one of your company's greatest security risks. Learn how to gain control of document security at nuance.com/gain control.
Looking at Inland Empire weather, wind advisory in effect for this afternoon. Overnight lows, we're going to drop down to about 51 degrees. Tomorrow's high 84. Today, we were supposed to hit about 82. Right now, 76. Looking at your drive, we've got some road construction going on in the Cajon Pass right there at 138 to Oak Hill Road. That is on the northbound side. And also more road construction in Riverside on the 215 southbound between Blaine and Martin Luther King. So that's going to be going on until about 2:30 this afternoon. That is the very latest in weather and traffic on the station that leaves no listener behind, KCAA 1050 AM.
CNBC Headline News is brought to you exclusively by West Coast Auto, located at 5180 Holt Boulevard in Montclair, where you'll find the widest selection of the most pristine used automobiles in Southern California.
West Coast Auto of Montclair is the 2015 top-rated pre-owned dealer in California, offering a service department that surpasses expectations in every single way. And while you're there, browse West Coast Auto's extensive lot of best-in-class pre-owned vehicles.
You're getting the best-in-class vehicles with financing options like 0% down and no payments for 90 days. Visit westcoastauto.com or call 9099-million.
West Coast Auto Montclair.
This is KCAA.
KCAA proudly presents The Poorman Show.
You were in rehab. I heard that you were in rehab.
Radio, hit it back.
I think it's great. Get rid of her, boot her butt to the other station. Let them deal with her.
It's time for
Radio, hit it back.
But Hispanics can't carry the whole load. The rest of you get busy. Make baby.
Radio, hit it back.
I like to call it the scrappy morning show because they're all people that used to be in KCAA.
Poorman, this is the scoop. I can get Will on the phone.
And if I can't run
this is our radio station,
right
and
way,
you will run it like a professional.
I can't hear anything in the room, by the way, because I can't hear you guys. I honestly can't.
Radio, hit it back.
I'm telling you right now what's going to happen.
You really never know what's going to happen. Here's the Poor Man.
I'll tell you what's going to happen today. This is really exciting, folks. We just got word that the attorney for Francis Pusock, James Terrell, is going to be calling the show literally in minutes. This is the explosive case where the San Bernardino County sheriffs basically beat the living snot out of this guy who is trying to run away on horseback. This happened last week. and he got kicked and beaten by, I guess, 71 times by just one sheriff after another. It was captured on videotape. I'm sure many of you have seen this, where you would just see one deputy after another come in and just kick or punch this guy. And so the attorney, who's located, by the way, in the Inland Empire, since this occurred in San Bernardino, with the sheriffs there, James Terrell is going to be joining us momentarily to discuss what's going on with his client. I guess he's getting 500 calls a day, so we're pretty excited. The fact that we're a local station in the Inland Empire, he's going to come on with us. And Di, I guess he's calling into you any minute.
Yeah, any minute. I want to clarify something. I believe he's in Victorville, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, he's right across the street from the courthouse. And I could be wrong.
I don't know. I usually don't spend my weekends in Victorville, but
yeah,
I hear it's.
I've been cursed.
You actually live close to that area, don't you?
I do. I live in Victorville. I live in Spring Valley Lake, which is it's in an unincorporated part of Victorville.
Yeah, listen, while we're waiting for him to call in, I want to also say it's very exciting here. Trevor Garner, who, of course, is Trevor the Drunk, and used to be my producer when I first was on KCAA. He has spent a whopping $65 to put an ad in 100,000 magazines, and I guess it is in there today. It's the green and white sheets, which are distributed all over the Inland Empire. 100,000 copies of this, and there's a nice quarter-page ad display which promotes the Poorman Show, and also the phone number where people can call in and they can be on the air anytime. And Trevor promises us, he gives us his word. As Trevor the Drunk, how could we ever deny his veracity, right?
Yeah. Hey, okay, I'm going to check the phone.
All right, okay, we may have the
Unless
attorney.
Unless you want me to just take him live right now.
For Francis Pusock calling us in to find out what's going on with his client. This is James Terrell, attorney from Victorville, California, public defender, defense attorney. Is he with us?
I hope so. Is this Mr.
I
Terrell?
hope I am.
Yeah, there you are.
Yeah.
Welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you very much. It's a great being here. I'm excited to be on your radio show. It's a local show, and I love the local people. That's for sure.
Yeah, and you're a local yourself. Now, tell us before we get into your client, which obviously is just horrific what's happened to him. What has changed in your life? I mean, since this first happened. I mean, I guess your assistant Lou told me you guys are getting 500 calls a day. It's just been insane for you, hasn't it?
It really has, and let me just say, there's two of us here, and the other person isn't on the show with us. I wish she could be here, but her name is Sharon Bruner, and she's also an attorney. She's also a civil rights attorney, and a member of the same civil rights group that I'm a member of. And so we're both up here in the high desert, and it's really a great thing to have somebody that you can rely on, like I do her, and she's such a great attorney. But to answer your question is, since this has happened and it went to a national situation from local to national, it's just been an amazing week. First of all, visiting our client and seeing all the cameras at the jail and what have you, visiting him, the family's concerned whether he's alive or not, and that's how it starts. The very, very first part was when we first got contacted, we came on, the case was, we saw that he was beat on that tape like you did.
Right.
But we didn't even know when it was done if he was alive or dead for hours and hours, and that was the scariest part.
Right, and I hear he was also a client of yours before that, because I guess he had several other run-ins with the law before this happened. Is that correct?
I knew him. I knew him before. I didn't know him in a negative way or do with criminal. I knew him from before, and it was. I certainly knew who he was, and I knew of his family. And so when this happened, when I went down there and you watch the beating that's on the TV, and you don't see him move. If you watch it, you don't see him move.
Well, you can't really see much of anything because of all the deputies just surrounding him. It's just incredible how they're incredible in a bad way, how they just...
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And so we're watching this, and I'm with the mother, and I'm with his long-term girlfriend who has 3 children with him. She's pregnant now.
Wow.
Jolene, and the only thing they're asking, where's he at now, and is he okay? And so we started making the calls, and that's all we wanted to know. Is he okay? And you know, in all these other cases, you hear about such things as excited delirium. Now, that's words that law enforcement makes up, and it usually ends up, they can justify tasering someone, getting them excited, and they die in their custody. And that was my biggest fear, is that we were going to hear at the end of it, after these kicks, after the use of the stun guns, that he was dead. That was not the case at all, obviously.
Mr. Terrell, how many times did he get kicked and punched after he got initially tased?
Yeah, there's been about that. I think is that the total we come up with is about 76, but that's a combination of punching and kicking.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I think someone else counted 37 punches alone. I wanted to ask you about the tasering. Was he tasered? Because it looked to me from the video that he was tasered 3 times. And that was the initial report that I was reading. But then it was just they tasered him. And so I heard it everywhere else. And then I read later on that he was actually tasered a few times. Is that true to your knowledge?
Yeah. Yes, that is. That is absolutely the case. And in the very beginning, when you see him, what he looks like, not when he's on the horse, but immediately thereafter, that tase that hits him, you can almost see his body reacting to that. That is a successful prong tase that goes on when the tase goes in it. In fact, later on, they're going to pull that prong out of his back, and he still got the marks from that. But he was tased 3 times, and if you watch that tape, you can see that he puts his hands in the small of his back. And when we talk, and you see more officers come, but he's handcuffed, and about 99% of that beating is with handcuffs on him. And if you could just imagine, no matter how disciplined you were, if people were kicking you and your hands were free, you'd go up and protect your head. His hands never leave that because he's handcuffed at that time.
Yeah.
Okay, we're talking to James Terrell. He's the attorney for, is it Francis Pusock? What's the correct pronunciation?
Yeah, you're saying it. Yeah, Pusock.
And your name, you're Terrell or Terrell?
Terrell, right?
Yes, Terrell. The way that
Terrell.
Pronounced, yes.
Okay.
And your offices are in Victorville, and so you know the family. They get you. You guys are gathered around in this videotape. What's really amazing, and I think your assistant Lou told me this, is that apparently the sheriffs for San Bernardino County thought that the helicopter that was videotaping the whole proceedings after he was taken off the horse and kicked and beaten, they thought that it was a police helicopter, not the Channel 4, local Channel 4 LA helicopter. Is that correct?
Yeah, that part here about them believing it was that's of course speculation, only because the helicopter was involved throughout the pursuit. The helicopter was involved. They picked people up. They moved people around. There was helicopter by the Sheriff's Department active during the entire time. And we also believed is that knowing the helicopter was there, they did not believe it was a media one. And they never thought that there would be anybody with a camera that would turn them in. And so that NBC camera up there captured it all, and they are not worried about anybody seeing what they're doing.
Mr. Terrell, have there been anyone asking about what happened to the audio, though, of that video? Because we all know it was Channel 4 who was taping it, and you hear the reporter kind of giving a play-by-play as to what's going on out there. But then all of a sudden the audio just dies.
Right. And as far, are you asking about the audio from the police? What I've asked for and what we've met with and what I'm hoping to receive is the audio.
Right.
Is the audio from
in the
dispatch.
Helicopter. Oh, okay, that too.
Yeah, dispatch, as well as the belt tapes. They're trying to put them on when they make contact with it, and we want to get that. We have talked to one person that has talked about listening to it as it was going live on a scanner, but it's actually an application for a cell phone that they have now. And what she was hearing, not seeing it at the time, was things like stop resisting and kicking and stunning, and there was a lot of different things like that going on. I would love to get the 911 tape because the mic was actually on. Somebody's mic was on when they were doing this, and I'd love to get that 911 tape, dispatch tape, as well as the officer's belt tapes. I would love to have those.
So why can't you, not knowing the procedure, why can't you get that?
Well, here's the interesting thing is how this works. Is if they were, had he been charged, and this was obviously a problem, let's say that they had arrested him, and which they did, but let's say that they had actually charged him. My client's not charged with anything. Had they had charged him with a pursuit, had they charged him with grabbing the horse, had they had charged him with things like that, they would have had to put their police name and badge numbers on those reports, as well as give the evidence, which would have been the belt tapes, the 911 tapes, the police reports, and everything else. Now, you and I know that they're not going to write down there that they went over and kicked and stomped on anybody, so their reports would not probably reflect the truth. Their reports would reflect that maybe they were attacked, or maybe their reports would not be sufficient, and therefore is that I don't have that. Normally, if they're arrested, they always put the crime reports in there. You get everything. You can get the tapes, the belt tapes, and everything else like that, photographs. At this point, a week later, we do not have the single name of one deputy, a detective, and a sergeant. We have no names at all today. So
I don't want to sugarcoat this because obviously I'm not anybody's attorney, but sounds to me like there could be a cover-up going on in the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department, is what maybe you're getting at.
Well, I mean, I'm saying is that normally is that what you would definitely do is put out a police report that says he got on this, I pursued him, when my pursuit was done with the pursuit, I apprehended him. Well, they obviously can't do this at this point, and they can't put, officer such and such back me up. The way it is right now is that the sheriff has not released the names. Now, I have been told that the reason they haven't released the names is supposedly there are threats made against the officers from people that have watched the video that are very, very upset. That is what I've been told.
Probably.
I mean, yeah, and now as far as the sheriff's comments go, I would say is that 50% of his statements that he did make, I did enjoy, and that was 50% of him talking about the fact after you look at that tape, there's a lot of wrongdoing going on, and that's for certain.
It just amazes me. I don't know, obviously I've never been a policeman and I've never been in a position like your client, but what do you think possibly could have provoked all these sheriffs to just, because you see people coming into that video that weren't even there, they take a kick, then the next guy takes a kick, the next guy takes a punch. I mean, why would people do that? I mean, it doesn't make any sense.
Well, we've got a lot of different opinions and stuff, but I can tell you what would have stopped that from happening, and that's one good cop saying that's enough. That's enough. That's all it would have taken.
It looked like there was one cop doing just that. It looked to me like he was kind of shaking his head in disbelief, and then he backed away. So it looked to me, and I don't know if anyone else is with me on that, but it kind of did appear that there was that one cop. But when there's 10, 11 others around, who are they going to listen to?
It's so crazy. I've heard people ask about the well-being of the horse also.
Yeah, that was me.
Oh, okay. How's the horse?
We've heard nothing negative about the horse whatsoever, and I certainly hope the horse is doing well. I haven't heard anything on that, and there've been a lot of people that have asked about the horse as well. I mean, and then different things like that. We certainly want that horse to do well. Everyone does.
So
before we go back to you and the family, real quickly, just so we can kind of chronologize everything. The pursuit started, I guess, at his residence. As I understand it, the police showed up at his doorstep on some identity theft investigation, and then did he take off in a car before he got the horse somehow? I mean, is that how it all began?
Yeah, and well, let me say this: that is not true. The police were on their way. The police were on their way to execute a search warrant at a house that he had just pulled up on, that he was at. And
so it wasn't even his house.
It was not his house. There was nothing of his name on it. There was nothing along those lines at all. And I've heard, nor have I read, anything different than that. It starts out a house that isn't even his, in any way. And the officers saw him leave. When they saw him leave, he turned around and he was driving. He didn't do anything. And they turned around and came over. Now, according to my client, they went over and attempted to ram him with a vehicle. And once that started, off to the races he went. So
wow. So he was in fear of his well-being, is what you're saying.
Absolutely, self-preservation. You certainly got the doctrine of necessity, where you have the right to do anything you can to survive it. Now, it may have been a self-fulfilling prophecy, but his fear was that he'd beat him half to death or kill him. And it looks like they sure did try at the end. That's for certain.
God, that's just incredible. Because he just happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time, and then boom.
Yeah, that is actually how he describes it and what he went through. So for him is that it's there. And you know, before we went on the air, we talked about a situation. Everyone, about 500 people must have texted me or called my office or anything else, and they said, you know, this situation at Highland is so much like your other situation.
Right. Let's clarify that. Yesterday, and Di, you know about this also.
Right.
Apparently, at a gas station in Highland, the same sheriff's department for San Bernardino County apprehended some man. I guess they tased him and beat him. I don't know exactly the incident. You probably know more about that than I do. And this guy died with the same group of officers. Is that correct, Mr. Terrell and Di?
Well, not the same group of officers.
But I mean the same department.
It's the same department as what I've been told, but definitely I know for a fact it's not the same officers because they're on leave right now.
Yeah.
Right. But the same department, and this guy died yesterday.
Yeah. And go ahead.
No, and I mean, from what I've heard, and I don't know if there's anyone took any photos or whether it was caught on any kind of a tape or a cell phone or anything else, is that it really bothered, and I was getting hits all night long about this one. And you know what? That's why we're here, both Sharon Bruner and myself, and there's a lot of this that goes on. There certainly is a lot of good cops. There's a lot of bad things that go on. And this is exactly the kind of stuff that we want to stop. We want to bring attention to, and you can do it too. If you're out there and you see things are going awry or there's an incident, just by taking out your cell phone and taking a picture, you can stop things from going on right now.
Yeah, that's just incredible. Well, Di has told me we need to take a break, and we got calls on hold. Can you stay through the break? You're getting hundreds of calls. We haven't even gotten to the point of when you first were alerted to this incident, and you didn't even know if he was alive or dead or what. Can you hang on one more segment, or are you? I mean, I don't want to take your time if you don't have the time.
Yeah, I really got to go, and I really am sorry. I'm glad that the people got the calls and you got that thing going, but I did that because I wanted to go with you, Jim, and I know you got a great show, but I'm sorry, maybe another time, but I do have to go now. Please.
Okay, tell Mr. Terrell real quickly, because you started on this. Tell me what happened. Just one more thing about what happened when you gathered with the family. You didn't know if he was alive or dead, and just finish that, and then if you have time. If you don't worry about it.
Yeah, no. Well, I mean, that was the big issue because we kept seeing the scene on the television. Didn't know what hospital it was at. We went to different hospitals. We made contact with different sheriff's offices and everything else. I kept using it. You know, I was involved in another case. I've done a lot of work with internal affairs for San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department, a lot of different cases, and I was involved in the West Valley detention taser scandal. I'm still in on that lawsuit that's going on right now. We've got about 24 people that were abused in the jail. I represent them along with Sharon Bruner. And so what we did is we used our contacts, and finally someone called and said in the middle of the night, Jimmy's going to be okay. Let them know that. And that was a great help, and that was a great relief, and we're very, very glad that happened.
And do you anticipate that the DA will prosecute the officers, or there will be some, prosecutions going on?
What I do know is there's a lot of things going on there. We certainly know that the Civil Rights Division out of Washington, D.C. and Southern California is looking into it. We also have been told and informed that the FBI is investigating it. I guess the DA can do two positions. They could charge him themselves, or they can wait to see what the civil rights and the FBI comes out to their conclusions. I got to go, but thank you so much, Jim.
Yeah, and one quick question, and I'll let you go. When is the next time you're in court with your client?
The next date we have, I think, is the 16th of June, 14th or 16th of June.
Okay, Mr. Terrell, thank you so much. I wish you all the best, and the same with Mr. Pusock. You are very generous with your time, and we really appreciate you coming on, and I definitely am going to give out the number of your office, so people need to get represented and defended. We'll let them know where to reach you.
Yes, and that's 760-951-5850. Thank you very much.
Okay, you take care now. Thank you very much. All right. That was Mr. James Terrell. He represents Francis Pusock, the gentleman that was horribly beaten by San Bernardino County sheriffs last week. And that's very, very nice of him to spend his time. He's been on nationally, been doing interviews, turned down a lot of interviews. And we sure appreciate him joining us here on the Poorman Show. And we'll be right back and take some calls from if you'd like on what you just heard.
Enjoy and sell the world's most perfect coffee. Javita invites you to sit down and enjoy a cup of their coffee with your family, friends, coworkers, and business contacts, and then share the Javita opportunity. Help spread the word about coffee that boosts your metabolism to speed up the body's fat-burning processes while helping you to maintain better focus. It's delicious and could earn you a steady income at the same time. Javita offers you a chance to make social marketing work for you. You'll be paid to drink and share coffee. How great is that? Call 626-478-7923. That's 626-478-7923. Or go to javita.com/coffee, the number 4, Life 315. Javita Coffee. Hey everybody, Pat Matthews here. When I'm not doing the production of the new Poorman Show here on Kcaa 1050 AM, I'm programming my internet radio station, Beatles-orama. It's been my pleasure to keep the spirit of the Beatles alive for the past 13 plus years, hosting my morning show Monday through Friday and running the greatest tribute station on the web. So, if you've never heard us, go to Beatlesorama.com and click on the Player Start button. And if you're already a listener, all of us here at Beatles-orama, thank you. With attorney Scott Schwartz, his clients always come first. If you've been injured on the job, he can help. They've been helping people throughout California for more than 50 years, doing it with integrity, and that has earned them an excellent reputation with peers, adversaries, and clients.
Scott did impeccable work on my case, and I would recommend him to friends and family.
He will help you obtain quality medical treatment while he fights for you. Don't face your injury alone. Scott has obtained millions of dollars for injured workers throughout the state. Those workers were able to focus on their recovery while attorney Scott Schwartz took care of the rest. Call right now for a free consultation, 800-550-1836. And remember, you don't pay unless he wins. Scott Schwartz is an aggressive workers' compensation attorney who will work for you. Call 800-550-1836 for an appointment. Get all that's coming to you. Call now so he can get started on your workers' comp case. 800-550-1836 or go to SoCalWorkComp.com. 800-550-1836. As heard on Little Steven's Underground Garage, it's the straight-ahead rock of LA's own, the 4019. Rock and roll like it was meant to be played. Get the music at the4019s.com. Spell it, the4019s.com. See them live Saturday, May 2nd, along with Billy Bob Thornton's Boxmasters at Monte d'Oro Winery in Temecula. Go to the4019s.com and have yourself one hell of a good time.
Have a good time.
The bumper music you're listening to right now is provided by the 4019s. Go to their website, the4019s.com.
Okay, we're back here. If you just tuned in, you can catch it on the podcast. We talked to James Terrell, the attorney for Francis Pusock, the gentleman who was apprehended on horseback last week by San Bernardino County sheriffs, beaten and punched 71, 73, 76 times. Anyway, a lot.
Yeah,
he was released Sunday night from jail. His attorney was on for about 20, 25 minutes. If anybody wants to comment on that, the phone number here is 888-909-1050, 888-909-1050. Di, I guess we got a couple people on hold. But first, you're like the news director of the station. What do you think of what he said, or just the whole thing?
Well, it was very interesting what I was telling you about these, and maybe Brett and Todd would know something about this. But the belt cameras, is that what he was calling them?
Yeah, that they were all wearing.
I mean, I guess the normal everyday person doesn't know that they have these, so everything is or can be recorded, or if they have their mics open, then you know exactly what went on. So I think that's good that he came on, because the public needs to be more aware of stuff like that, so that we can stop this. It's too common. It's too common these days.
You know, I mean, I obviously I'm not going to ask him that question, but I mean, all you can think about, I mean, as just a reasonable person, you wonder if when he was on the ground, he might have said something to the cops, because it just seems weird that they would, I mean, they shouldn't do that no matter what he says, but.
Right.
I mean, what was it, you know, the mics would have maybe picked up what he said also, but if, you know, you just wonder what kind of cover-up's going on there, because if he said some stuff that provoked the police, why wouldn't they want those recordings released as well? It seems like. Normally we don't even do hard news like this, but, you know, you got to adjust to whatever is going on your show that particular day. So,
yeah.
Anyway, so is anybody on the line there?
Yeah, we've got Brett, who's been waiting a while here, and we've got Todd standing by too.
Do we have anybody from the IE?
Not yet, but please do call in. The number again, 909-888-KCAA or 5222.
No, I thought it's 888-909-1050.
Well, they can call on that number too. So
okay.
Whatever's easier for you to remember.
All right, so we want to hear from some people in the IE, because we do theoretically broadcast to the IE. So I want to hear from some IE people. You know, you live in the Inland Empire. You may live in the San Bernardino County where these sheriffs are at, and you know, we don't have to take just people maybe on one side or the other. We want to hear from everybody on your thoughts. This is a major national case. Okay, go ahead. Let's Brett or Todd, whoever you want to go to.
Here's Brett. He's been waiting a while. Hey, Brett.
Brett is a fireman who runs the Kcaa Poorman Show page. Now we have another one. We have two pages. Yeah. One is the Poorman Radio Show page, which people should like if they can on Facebook. Go ahead, Brett.
I'll try to be quick. I'm all for civil rights. I don't approve of police brutality, but in this case, I don't endorse what the officers did. But this guy led on a car pursuit, and he stole a horse, and he shot a dog prior. When you lead police officers on a pursuit like that, you got two officers down who are injured, and you see another officer who's down, he falls down, and they're chasing the guy in the desert. I really sympathize with criminals. If that's the life you choose, and you're going to taunt and tease the police, I mean, they're going to bring a beating with them eventually. You taunt, it's human nature. If you're going to taunt and tease someone, and they're trying to get you and catch up with you and arrest you properly, I don't endorse beating someone, but I can see why the officers did it. They're going to bring that. If you're taunt and tease them, they're going to catch up with you eventually, and he knew what he did. And I don't sympathize with criminals.
But the attorney just said he was just driving up to somebody's home, and suddenly the cops were trying to ram him off the road, and it wasn't even his house. If that's that's true.
But Poorman, the cops, they don't initiate a pursuit unless you prompt them or indicate you're going to run from them. He had a warrant outstanding, and had he just not chosen a life of crime, I would understand. But I just don't sympathize with criminals that much. And like I said, if you tease the police for an hours on end pursuit, when they catch up with you, they're going to vent. It's just human nature. You know, and people get mad on Facebook, they get a little bit mad and they block you. Imagine that magnified by 100.
Who might you be talking about, Brett? It sounds like you might be talking about yourself.
Yeah.
No. I'm talking. I don't block people. But I'm talking.
Brett, you're moody though, Brett. Like, what's the page you're on? If you want to hear like the scalding dirt on the Poorman Show or just everything we do wrong on here, go to this page. I mean, I'm not putting it down. Listen, everybody's entitled to free speech. The only thing I don't like that Todd does is when he starts knocking my sponsors, because Todd, this show will go away if we don't have sponsors. So,
hey, Poorman, can I address it real fast?
Yeah, you could. Why am I hearing myself again here? Something happened there. Go ahead.
I asked you for the last 2 weeks, do current topics and address like police issues, and you're doing it, and the show is way better. The whole purpose.
Well,
of
that's your opinion. Some people like the next story I'm going to do, where a guy smoked some marijuana and he blew a horse. Okay, they like those stories too.
The show, I'm saying, is that the show is doing great now. The show is improved and doing really good. It's
well, but you know what? This is the thing. Yeah, right. We should probably get you off and go to a break. That's a perfect way to end this segment. So we'll be right back after this. And go to Todd's. Okay, you bet, Brett. And Todd, hang on. Anybody else? Hello, Inland Empire. We want to hear from you. This is an Inland Empire radio station. The phone number is 888-909-1050. And I'll talk about that lucky horse in a minute.
All legal cases are different. Hiring the right lawyer can make all the difference in the outcome of your case. Whether it's a DUI, divorce, or family law, the law firm of Hanson, Gorey & Bradford & Hanich has the solution. From misdemeanor to felony offenses, Hanson, Gorey & Bradford & Hanich have more than 50 years of collective legal experience to win for you. Call right now to schedule a free no-obligation case consultation today. 951-687-6003, 951-687-6003, or see for yourself at hgblawyers.com. Do it now. Have you ever wanted to bring the beauty of the ocean right into your home or office? Or already have an aquarium and just no time to clean it? Let Scuba Steve's Fish take care of that for you, specializing in new aquarium setups and maintenance. That's ScubaStevesFish.net, 714-600-2739. Check out the website at ScubaStevesFish.net. That's ScubaStevesFish.net. Get it? Fish.net. Serving Orange County and parts of the Inland Empire. There's nothing worse than a dirty aquarium. ScubaStevesFish.net.
Hey, everybody. I have some very exciting news. We do something extremely cool on the show every Thursday. We bring on longtime Hollywood casting director Jeff Olin, who has put people in background roles in movies and TV shows, everything from Pulp Fiction to Grey's Anatomy. He comes on this show and tells us what roles are available, and he wants to put you, my listeners, in his movies and television shows. All you have to do is send him an email if you want to get in a movie or a TV show with pay. The email address is castingcalljo@aol.com. Include a selfie and your phone number, and then tune in Thursday to see if Jeff puts you in the movies.
With attorney Scott Schwartz, his clients always come first. If you've been injured on the job, he can help. They've been helping people throughout California for more than 50 years, doing it with integrity, and that has earned them an excellent reputation with peers, adversaries, and clients.
Scott did impeccable work on my case, and I would recommend him to friends and family.
He will help you obtain quality medical treatment while he fights for you. Don't face your injury alone. Scott has obtained millions of dollars for injured workers throughout the state. Those workers were able to focus on their recovery while attorney Scott Schwartz took care of the rest. Call right now for a free consultation, 800-550-1836. And remember, you don't pay unless he wins. Scott Schwartz is an aggressive workers' compensation attorney who will work for you. Call 800-550-1836 for an appointment. Get all that's coming to you. Call now so he can get started on your workers' comp case. 800-550-1836 or go to SoCalWorkComp.com. 800-550-1836. Bumpers on the Poorman Show are provided by Kcaa Fallen Music. Go to KCAAFallen.com.
Okay, we are back here. It's the Poor Man Show on a Thursday. Everybody like my page on Facebook. It's called Poor Man's Radio Show or Poor Man Radio Show. I think, is that it? Facebook. Just put Poor Man in there. You'll find it. Just started yesterday. We got about 500 likes already. Thanks to everybody for liking that page. Even Todd's on there. Todd from Las Vegas. Come on in, Todd. Come on down.
All right, hello. You know, I listened to that attorney, and first of all, I want to say that there's definitely some misconduct involved. There's no question on the part of those officers. However, you have to understand when someone has their attorney, they're going to try to explain everything the person did and make them sound as innocent as possible. Now,
well, of course.
Something that's, I think, of little doubt here is that this guy was evading the police. This is a career criminal dating back 13 years. This is someone who's accused and probably guilty of identity theft, which is a nasty crime and a huge pain for anyone who's a victim of it. So they came over to do a search warrant, and they see him pull up. Now, I don't know who owned the place or whatever, but the guy they're looking to get evidence about from the search warrant pulls up, and they're like, yeah, we want to talk to him, and then he takes off. So obviously that's a probable cause to go chase him, and then he leads them on a pursuit, then he steals a horse. There's no question that this guy is a career criminal who was evading the police. So
listen, what you say is, I mean, the thing is, we don't know all the facts. You're absolutely right. I mean, if you think about it logically, yeah, there's a small chance that the way the attorney presented it is the way it happened, but knowing that this guy's a 13-year career criminal and that they were serving a search warrant for something he had something to do with, otherwise they wouldn't be searching it, and he happens to show up right then, meaning he's probably living or staying there, and then, obviously this looks like he initiated the problem. But then where the sheriff screwed up is, kick and punch a guy 70 times unless he's got a gun.
So here's my question. This is what I don't understand. When I saw this video, I was like everybody else, going, "Wow, look at this! This guy must be in awful shape." I wasn't sure, did he live? Did he suffer like major injuries? No, he had like very minor injuries. So how does someone possibly get kicked and punched 71 times by 10 men and escape with very minor injuries? I think that perhaps the video is a little misleading. I'm not saying the police were not guilty of misconduct, because from what we can see there, they were. But I also think that maybe this looks worse on video than it really was. I just can't imagine someone being hit 71 times while on the ground and somehow escaping with just a few minor cuts and bruises.
Yeah, but that's probably because you wouldn't do that. Now you're on this. I mean,
just physically, how can you escape with minor cuts and bruises when you get kicked and punched 71 times?
Yeah, you can't.
So how'd that happen? It was acknowledged he only has minor cuts and bruises from what I saw. So that's what I'm thinking, that maybe this is one of these things where the video actually looks worse than it actually was. Maybe what looked like a punch and kick were not, or it's hard to tell what was going on, but it's hard to believe that there would be that minor injuries from what appeared to be happening there. The other thing is that I do think that the misconduct that took place was kind of a revenge thing. This is just my guess. I don't, this one I don't know, but because two officers did get injured while attempting to chase him on horseback, when he was on horseback, they weren't on horseback. They were trying to chase him. Two of them got kicked by the horse, and I think a third one got injured. So they were probably angry.
And there were a couple who were dehydrated. That's what I want to talk about. Because to me, it's happening so frequently that I wonder that if these deputies don't get into these positions and they get scared, and then they get maybe some sort of crazy adrenaline rush, and then they just beat the crap out of these guys.
Well,
and
yeah,
I just think
that happened.
I think
that's. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I think this is something that shouldn't happen. Obviously, they need to be disciplined. Whoever did something that was against procedure and against the law should be disciplined and/or charged. But I also don't like. This guy doesn't deserve any sympathy, though. I'm not saying the cops should get off for it, but this guy is a career criminal who was fleeing from them, stole a horse, caused the officers injury. Before they attacked him from the horse kicking them, from this whole thing. This is someone who isn't deserving of very much sympathy. And this is not like some innocent person who gets pulled over and gets in an argument with a cop and the cop beats him up, or has a bunch of cops jump the guy and beat him up.
Well,
you can say there's no excuse.
Do you think it makes a difference if he's ever owned a gun or any sort of weapon? Because according to what I've read on this man, on Pusak, the guy in Apple Valley, he's never had a weapon. His crimes have been, I mean, I don't know the story about the animal cruelty. I don't know the details as far as that goes, and I'm highly against that. Of course, you know that, poor man, because I'm concerned about the horse. But
hey, Todd, we just got the mad texter who knocks me most of the time. He says, Todd, go back to playing cards because your analysis sucks.
Oh, okay, is he on the line by chance?
At least I'm not the mad texter. At least you know that somebody else.
At least we know that. Hey, but no, you know what? Everybody's got their own opinions, and I don't think that, when the facts come out, I'm sure they eventually will. We'll see what happens. I'm just excited that we could get the attorney on this show, because things like that are going to help this show grow. And also, my next story too, which Todd, I know you'll be on the edge of your seat for because it also involves a horse. It's
yeah, this is like horse radio today. But no, I'm glad the attorney came on. It was interesting. I'm just saying I think that he was, of course, painting a rosy picture of his client's situation, as attorneys always do. So,
right. Well, of course,
that's
what he gets paid for. By the way, speaking of my clients, with my sponsors, please, dude, don't knock my sponsors, because if they go away, then this show will go away. I mean, I got to keep the sponsors I have. You know, we're growing.
That's fine. I was the main point I was just trying to make. I have no problem with any of the sponsors, and I think the show obviously needs sponsors. I'm just saying that since it's a short show, it's only an hour, and minus commercials. Just try to keep the content of the show as regular content, and the commercials as commercials, and not mix the two. Not try to have commercials during the show and kind of pass them off a segment.
That's fair enough. We got a call from the Inland Empire. Thanks, Todd. Let's take that call, and then we'll take a break. A call from the IE.
Steve, are you there?
Hello?
Hey.
Hi, who's this?
Steve from Redlands. How are you?
Steve?
Yes, sir.
Welcome to the Poorman Show. Nice to have you on. Go ahead.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I know that I've gotten some limited time here because I'm dying to hear what happened with that guy who blew the horse. So,
well, as soon right after the break, this will make you hang on through all our sponsors. But go ahead, make your point here if you want.
Yeah, real quick about that beating. It's like when the adrenaline gets pumping like 1,000 miles a minute. There's people that's gonna, it's like a mass hysteria type thing. Like one officer starts pounding this guy like a human pinata,
right?
And then 2 and 3 more join in, and with that adrenaline, I think they have all their other senses blocked. Maybe they didn't see.
Do you
those
think
other 2 or 3 helicopters hovering around above them? And it's just like this. There was another high-speed chase yesterday that ended in South Pasadena. I don't know if you saw that or not.
No, I didn't. What happened?
Yeah, it was a white lady. The chase started off in the OC, and she ended up right there at, it was on Colorado and Arroyo in South Pass, right at the end of the 110. And there was like 3 or 4 helicopters hovering around up in the sky. And, I think that they were aware.
And what happened? So the cops didn't do anything in that case?
No, the cops treated this incident with kid gloves. They, approached the lady. They were making very, very calm and easygoing motions to the lady to, come out of the car. And
well, that's good.
But
they knew they were being watched, right?
Exactly, with Big Brother watching and all that.
Interesting.
Do you think, Steve, I have a question for you. Do you think that maybe we need to be a little more sympathetic of these cops? Maybe we don't understand the adrenaline rush that comes with chasing somebody?
Well, you know what? I have a few family members in the family that are cops.
Uh-huh.
And I know that, they have to go through exercises and exercise a certain amount of restraint. And that's what they're supposed to do. They're not supposed to go up and,
kick the snot out of a guy.
Exactly. They're supposed to protect us, and
Do you think regular training would help? Would help them to kind of learn how to direct their anger and their emotions and their adrenaline?
What would help, Di? I didn't hear that.
Just extensive training. I mean, I was telling you that. I mean, so many public employees have to go through continual training, and I think that, you have these 2 cops.
I thought the police go through a police academy before they become policemen.
But what about during? What about during? What about when they get used to everything? Everyone, watches their P's and Q's in the beginning of any job. I don't care what you do. And then you kind of become a little more relaxed. And so maybe they need to make sure that these guys are working out regularly. Maybe see mental health counselors. Maybe something. Maybe they need to take care of themselves first so they don't beat the crap out of these guys.
All right. Well, listen, we definitely have to take a break, you guys, because I've got 2 more breaks to go, and I have to talk about about pleasuring a horse by this guy in Wisconsin.
Steve,
we gotta go.
Thank you so much for calling in, Steve.
Yeah, thanks, Steve.
Okay, you're
Call
welcome.
in anytime. Tell everybody in the IE to listen to the show too. Okay.
I'll shout it out.
All right, we love you, Steve.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Okay, thanks a lot. We'll be back in a minute with the continuing horse talk.
Razor Rooter Plumbing is your fast, affordable plumbing service in Southern California. If your drains need fixing, give them a call. They tackle the toughest drain jobs every day. They do sewer repair and full sewer replacement and give better deals than the other guys, sometimes up to 2/3 off. Call 626-377-4556 for all your plumbing problems, or go online to cheapplumbingservice.com. They're on call around the clock, so call 626-377-4556. That's 626-377-4556. Razor Rooter Plumbing. Hey everybody, Pat Matthews here. When I'm not doing the production of the new Poorman Show here on Kcaa 1050 AM, I'm programming my internet radio station, Beatles-orama. It's been my pleasure to keep the spirit of the Beatles alive for the past 13 plus years, hosting my morning show Monday through Friday and running the greatest tribute station on the web. So if you've never heard us, go to Beatlesorama.com and click on the player start button. And if you're already a listener, all of us here at Beatlesorama, thank you.
Hey everybody, I have some very exciting news. We do something extremely cool on the show every Thursday. We bring on longtime Hollywood casting director Jeff Olin, who has put people in background roles in movies and TV shows, everything from Pulp Fiction to Grey's Anatomy. He comes on this show and tells us what roles are available, and he wants to put you, my listeners, in his movies and television shows. All you have to do is send him an email if you want to get in a movie or a TV show with pay. The email address is castingcalljo@aol.com. Include a selfie and your phone number, and then tune in Thursday to see if Jeff puts you in the movies. Injured at your job? Abused by your boss? Fired? My radio show sponsor, workers' comp attorney Scott Schwartz, will help at no cost. Go to his website, socalworkcomp.com, or give him a call, 818-350-2658. He doesn't charge you anything unless he makes a recovery.
Bumpers on the Poor Man Show are provided by Casey Fallen Music. Go to CaseyFallen.com.
And thanks to Casey Fallen, who not only is a great musician with great music and a great new release, but he is also the admin of the new Poor Man radio show page on Facebook, which hopefully everybody will like. It's going to be interactive. It's going to be great. And also, Brett from Sacramento has another KCA Poor Man radio show page that gets pretty crazy. So you can go like both of those pages. I am so excited about my Man Smokes Weed, Sucks Horses pee-pee. You could say pee-pee, right, on the air?
I think that's fine.
Okay, I want to tell that story, but you have another comment from, I guess, the guy who's doing the show after us. Is that right?
Yeah, got Randy Guth there. He wanted to talk about the police chase.
Hey, Randy, how are you?
Hey, I'm great. How you doing?
Good. What type of show do you have on after us?
We do a real estate show for Southern California here. It's called Real Estate Talk with Bob and Randy, and we're kind of a local deal here. We have a real estate franchise here, Exit Realty.
Awesome. You can also get some great deals in the IE on real estate, I'm sure.
Absolutely. You know, we probably had the biggest amount of decrease over the last few years, and so it probably has the largest amount of room to move upward. So it's really a pretty good purchase time right now.
And that show's going to be on at 3 o'clock.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. And so you had a comment you wanted to make about this whole police thing with the sheriffs and whatnot.
Yeah, and I didn't hear your whole talk, and I came in right at the tail end. But you know, I try to tell people. You know, I heard Di talk about the adrenaline rush and so forth, and training, and you know, I try to ask people: have you ever been in a fight, whether you were in high school or grade school or as an adult? Have you ever been in a street fight, and then when it's done, were you able to turn off that adrenaline? It doesn't happen. You'll be shaking usually for 15 or 20 minutes afterwards. You just can't turn that adrenaline off. And I'm not condoning what the police do all the time, but I also think that there's some responsibility. Had the person not run from the police, it would have never happened to begin with.
Now, the mad texter has just sent me a text. He says, and this is directed to Di, and maybe both you guys. He goes, more sympathy for the cops, Di. They are the victims. So when a man beats his wife, it is okay because we don't understand the stress he has endured?
All depends on the wife. No.
I'm not touching that, man.
No,
Randy, you have a good wife,
and I do.
though.
Di actually knows my wife, so no, I'm not going to. And I'm not condoning what the police do.
And I'm not either. I was playing devil's advocate is really what I was doing, mad texter guy.
And I'm just kind of coming at it from, a man's man point of view is that, when that adrenaline is rushing like that, it's hard. It's really hard to turn it off, And there's some culpability and responsibility from the person who's running from the police. I mean, had they not done that, had they not broken the law, guess what? The police wouldn't be there to begin with. So.
Right, and but then you got to worry about the fact that, like in South Carolina, the guy had so much adrenaline, he shot the guy in the back when he was running away and killed that guy, and now he's being charged, I guess, with murder.
Yeah, he is, and you know what, and rightfully so, and I think that's what the laws are really set forth there to do is, was that overly excessive? And absolutely, I think, from what we've seen, now we're not sitting in the courtroom yet, so just based on what we see on the media, was that overly excessive? Yes. Just based on what we're seeing, we don't have, the car cam or anything else that happened prior to the guy running away. And so based on what we're seeing, I would say, yes, that's overly excessive, and, the courts will take care of that.
All right, we got to take yet another break, and we still have to get to the man smokes weed, sucks the horse. I think I can squeeze it in before the end of the show.
You're awful.
Have you ever wanted to bring the beauty of the ocean right into your home or office? Or already have an aquarium and just no time to clean it? Let Scuba Steve's Fish take care of that for you, specializing in new aquarium setups and maintenance. That's ScubaStevesFish.net, 714-600-2739. Check out the website at ScubaStevesFish.net. That's ScubaStevesFish.net. Get it? Fish.net? Serving Orange County and parts of the Inland Empire. There's nothing worse than a dirty aquarium. ScubaStevesFish.net. The music of Kcaa Fallen. His second album, Atmospheric Disturbances. The powerful melodic energy that is Kcaa Fallen. On the college radio charts for months, Atmospheric Disturbances. Discover Kcaa Fallen. Buy the CD at Target stores and online at Amazon.com. Downloads available in the iTunes Store. Get more info at KcaaFallen.com. All legal cases are different. Hiring the right lawyer can make all the difference in the outcome of your case. Whether it's a DUI, divorce, or family law, the law firm of Hanson, Gorian, Bradford & Hanich has the solution. From misdemeanor to felony offenses, Hanson, Gorian, Bradford & Hanich have more than 50 years of collective legal experience to win for you. Call right now to schedule a free no-obligation case consultation today. 951-687-6003, 951-687-6003, or see for yourself at hgblawyers.com. Do it now. Enjoy and sell the world's most perfect coffee. Javita invites you to sit down and enjoy a cup of their coffee with your family, friends, coworkers, and business contacts, and then share the Javita opportunity. Help spread the word about coffee that boosts your metabolism to speed up the body's fat-burning processes while helping you to maintain better focus. It's delicious and could earn you a steady income at the same time. Javita offers you a chance to make social marketing work for you. You'll be paid to drink and share coffee. How great is that? Call 626-478-7923. That's 626-478-7923. Or go to javita.com/coffee, the number 4, Life 315. Javita Coffee. The bumper music you're listening to right now is provided by the 4019s. Go to their website, the4019s.com.
Unfortunately, we do not have enough time to tell you the story of man making love to horses unitage today. But we will do that tomorrow because we have about 15 seconds left right now in the show. Thanks again to Mr. Terrell, the attorney for Francis Pusock, the gentleman beaten by all the San Bernardino County sheriffs. Obviously, we'll see what happens with that, and we'll be back tomorrow with a lot of good stuff. So thanks for joining us, and see you soon.
Bye-bye.
Now, it's time for the latest in news from KCAA, CNBC Business News, brought to you by West Coast Auto.
You're on board KCAA's Inland Talk Express. KCAA, Loma Linda, 1050 AM, the station that leaves no